You're listening to Jim and James Chew the Cud.
When was the last time you saw a Chevrolet in Tokyo?
I have no idea what they're talking about.
Robbing biological urges.
You're crazy, son. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
You're listening to Jim and James Chew the Cud.
I hate when I text my girl to smash and she doesn't respond. Then I check Twitter and I see she's like popping off about like all the different injustices and stuff.
Welcome to God knows what number of episodes this is.
It's a number.
It's just what a number though it could be. That's the thing. It's a conceptual introduction because there isn't a set number. This number can be whatever you want it to be, which is good.
Yeah.
Speaking of
most of our previous shows have been numbers we wanted them to be.
Yeah.
If we have said 200, we could say.
Yeah.
Or number.
This is episode 7.5. Obviously, it's changed a lot over the time we've been doing this, and I sort of wanted to go down a nicer route because obviously it's been a while since we've recorded, but Captain Tom has died.
Sad news.
For some. We've, on the podcast, we've sort of sat on the fence a little bit with regards to him, but I think, in hindsight, he was probably all right. There's talk about...
I did a mural at work.
You did do a mural at work, yeah.
It's quite bad. It's more like Jim Bowen, but now it can't come down.
It's just there forever now as a sort of a memorial. But they're actually talking about how to honour him. So there is talk of like a statue being made.
Yeah.
Which seems faintly ludicrous. I don't know whether that's just me being bitter again.
It was better off having some sort of like a theme park where you've got like a garden and it's like a massive Captain Tom walking around it, and he's got like a basket in his Zimmer frame.
Yeah,
and people would be attendants sitting in that basket.
You could have like
5 or 6 at a time.
It's a small garden after all, where you go around on a little robotic Zimmer frame around a little garden. Like that ride, and all the little children are just the ghosts of Burmese children that he can't get the screams out of his head. That's what he was running away from the whole time. The other thing that I wanted to sort of make amends with was Harvey Price. We got a bit of pushback for some Harvey Price comments. One, you or me, mate, I'm not sure who, off the top of my head, about Harvey Price. But I think we should just move on from that. If you don't like something, you can't stand something, and just ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist, which is Dwight York's advice when I asked him. Because he's obviously
with one hand, take with the other.
Yeah. No, we're going to stop. We're not going to make jokes about that anymore. When I say that, I mean the situation, not reducing Harvey Price down to just a thing. Obviously, we are still in the middle of a pandemic. Jerry and Kate McCann have both come out and said they've both lost a parent due to COVID. Seems careless. How are you getting through the days?
Well, today I've been watching Superstore. It's almost finished. And playing. Yeah, it's like The Office, but in a Superstore. It's not it does it well. So
it does it well.
I would recommend.
Okay.
So far. Good laughs.
Yeah. How many laughs an episode? 10 laughs.
Well, later on you get far more. It's good laughs. Maybe 3 or 4, but it's not.
You got from 10. You're saying later on there's 10 laughs an episode.
It's one character who I despise.
Yeah.
I never said 10. You just said 10.
You said 10.
But later,
you absolutely said 10. You went 10. But later on, how many laughs an episode?
10.
You're saying it's 4 or 5 jokes an episode.
It's a character who I do. As a character I actually despise. I felt it was badly written. He was just over the top. And then something happened later on, and I was devastated. There were tears in my eyes.
Okay,
I was quite at the drop of a hat.
So you're saying not only does it have
I'd recommend
4 or 5 laughs an episode, it also has a lot of pathos and character development.
Good laughs.
Good big laughs. Some big laughs.
Okay. Some big laughs, yeah.
How are you finding WandaVision? Because I've wanted to recommend it to John, who, by the way, since we were off, has now been on Guitar Hour podcast twice. And they outright said, he's out there cracking slightly dark jokes on it and everything.
Really?
Yeah, honestly. And I mean, obviously, we want to get on.
Quite clean cut, wasn't he?
He is quite a clean cut person, but I mean,
very offensive to me.
I think, he picks a target and latches onto it like an angry badger.
Yeah.
But but he was doing none of that. He wasn't calling the other people on the podcast pedophiles or anything like that. He was just saying, he was just making like slightly dark jokes about Eric Clapton because that 70s material kills in guitar circles. But no, I was wondering, because obviously we spoke before about how we didn't make John's highlights of the year list, and that was quite frustrating as a podcast, because it was quite a long list, to be honest, and some of it didn't even sound that good, and we didn't make it. So we're now 2 episodes behind. Well, actually, he's now been on there twice on Guitar Hour podcast. And yeah, they did a quiz. It was about guitar stuff, like a bit. Oh, if you're really into this type of thing, where I feel what we do, anyone can listen, because there's not any structure or anything to it.
No.
It's just friends chatting, and
I
think that's the best version. Yeah, we're just friends having a chat. Whereas the Guitar Hour podcast that I listened to some of, it was very guitar heavy, and almost sort of, they felt it was beneath them to talk about guitars. They should just be playing guitars. So I wouldn't recommend it. And I went on and left that 0-star review for it. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
But yeah, so I was going to say, John, I want to recommend WandaVision to him. But if I don't recommend him something that's like 100% the best thing he's ever heard, he's quite dismissive.
Yeah.
So I at the moment, I'm like, I'm going to definitely recommend this series because it's fantastic. What were your thoughts? Did you enjoy it?
I wish, I said to you that I wish that when they released it, they released the first half the season all at once, or released 2 episodes, and it wasn't really clear from the episodes where it was going.
No.
And a lot of people haven't watched beyond that, and they really should. Once it gets to episode 3, there's quite a big change in how it works, and it makes everything just clearer.
Yeah,
and it makes it easier to watch, and there's a great twist in it. And there's callbacks to earlier episodes, which make things make more sense. So I think I'm going to watch it every week, and when it's all out, I'll watch it all again into one massive binge session.
I mean, that's kind of, I think that's the reason they've done it, isn't it? Because I mean, they're 9 episodes. If you something like that. If they drop it all in one go, they've got 1 week of people talking about it. But if they drop it out each week, I mean, I think it's the fact that the first 2 episodes were so lack of action, but were just very highly stylized and and sort of set out the universe. But also, by this point, Marvel stuff sells itself. Like if you don't know that it's going to get like that later on, then you're an idiot. I've seen a couple of people think, oh, they literally doing a 60s or 70s style sitcom for 9 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that lasts maybe 2 episodes. Then it sort of goes back into the more Marvel-y stuff. It's still there. Each sort of, the setting is obviously a different decade, but it's building to something rather than it just being that. And I think more people will watch it. But the problem is, John watched I don't think we've recorded since then, but John watched the Star Wars films. He watched all of them. He didn't realize there were 9. He thought there were 6. He really enjoyed the Jar Jar Binks prequel trilogy.
It's just bizarre.
It is weird. I kind of think he does it as a sort of little act, but because he is very, he actually does like the Jar Jar Binks. He didn't like Obi-Wan Kenobi, which means I don't think he really watched it. But yeah, he really enjoyed that, and it was quite interesting because he'd never seen them before, like in order or ever, I don't think. So he enjoyed the arc of Anakin Skywalker, but then he also really enjoyed the last 3 films. Where to me, I think we differ somewhat on this, but the last film means that the first 8 didn't need to happen. Like there's nothing to it. She's a superhero. She kills Palpatine. It means everything else getting before it is pointless. But he loved it. He even liked the bit with the space horses on the side of the spaceship, which for me is just. I went on his channel recently, and people talk about him like he's some sort of god, and yet he possesses these sort of opinions on things. And because he does jazz, right, and because he if you recommend an album to me, it will be sort of like right, Travis or something, right? The Stereophonics. And it'll be something you could at least have a guess and go, yeah, this is probably, you might like it, you might not. With John, unless everyone who was involved in the original recording of it has died, he doesn't have an interest in it. I'll listen to, like, there's a song I recommended to him, and it was Frank Ocean's Bad Religion, which, speaking of which, you've started watching Snowpiercer, haven't you?
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second, but this song there's a cover of it in there. A lady sings it, and it's fantastic. And John obviously plays over songs, and I hear this song, and I think, this is really cool. I can see John doing his jazz guitar over the top of it and all of that. And so I sent it to him, and a couple of days later, I said, "Did you ever listen to that?" He went, "No." I was like, "Okay, cool, give it a listen." And he just replied being like, "I'm never doing anything with that because the music is terrible. Also, it's the theme tune to The Office." And it literally is. It's the same notes or chords or whatever, and sort of organ. And once you hear them side by side, it's exactly the same thing. But I was so sure that I was like, this is trendy hip hop. This is great. And no, he slams me down. But my point is, sorry, that he's super highbrow about entertainment. Although he does watch a lot of Nicolas Cage films, more than I do, which at this point is sort of is weird.
Something.
Yeah,
that's a huge amount. That's films which he hasn't even been in.
Yeah, because it's the 6 Degrees of Nicolas Cage. But what I'm saying is, he's so highbrow about a lot of entertainment, and yet he enjoyed the last couple of films like a child.
That fits into a theory I was thinking of the other day. After we were having a chat outside work for a bit about music, and on my walk home, I was thinking that a lot of stuff. I think I go into a lot of music to like now because of girls at the time.
Yeah,
and it's either, so there's a girl who I really, really fancied, absolutely stunning, and she got me into Rage Against the Machine and kind of bands like that, and Green Day, and she's now a performer of her own right now. She's got albums out and done pretty well. And
what's her name?
I'm not going to say, but her film.
What's interesting is you chose the word performer.
No, she's a singer-songwriter. I think I ever mentioned her to you.
No, surprisingly.
Well, this is a true story.
Yeah.
But sure, she got me into bands, and then later on, when I was at uni, as a girl, I really fancied, and she got me more into like folk and things. I say she got me.
It was a he.
And so I listened to stuff she liked to try and have that link.
Yeah.
It never happened. But it did start with Chain of Kate.
So was the first one called Kate?
Actually, I say it started with Chain of Kate. Yeah, the other was also called Kate as well.
Okay, so was it Katie Tunstall?
No. She's not huge. But she, one of her songs was featured in, I believe, something. Is it Story of Angus and the Travelling Song or something like that? I don't know how to hide.
Sorry, what? The Story of Angus and the Travelling Song. I'm going to Google that.
Something like that.
I think you're conflicting two films, which is Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, or the Something Society of the Traveling.
Yeah, it's in one of those films. I think the last one it was Traveling Song, something Sisterhood, or Traveling Sister.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Okay, so I've got that on IMDb. Let's have a look. 4 best friends hatch a plan to stay connected.
Giving you information to find out the person's name.
Yeah, you have.
I'm still going to make you work for it, though.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Soundtrack to this is great radio.
Really is.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Okay, so we're going to just go through.
I'm going to give you another clue.
Okay.
She has an American or Canadian namesake who is an actress in like soaps. But, like,
okay, so what I'm going to do, if it's the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants, you have. I don't believe this. Okay, so These Days by Chantal Creveu, unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield, Alana Grace, Five for Fighting. Were you dating Five for Fighting?
No.
Brandy Carlisle?
No.
Rachel Yamagata?
No.
Shannon Kerfman? Katy Perry's on here.
Not Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Maybe one then.
I mean, is her name Kate? We just get that out of the way.
Her name is Kate.
Her name is Kate.
Or Katie.
Was it Kempo the Blaxican?
No.
Was it in the? I am
on her first album.
Yeah.
Also, I had a song written about one of my friends, and I don't think
was this one of your pedo friends?
No. He's a very respectable man with a house and a child and a wife.
Oh. Okay, so hang on. I've got the list for Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. Right, so you dated Kate Walsh?
I didn't date. I just really fancied her, but she went into lots of music.
Let's see how she's getting on.
I think she's now retired from it. Is just living in Brighton.
She's young.
Somewhere. There's not many photos of her.
Well, she's 4 years younger than you. When did you meet her?
When I was at uni.
Where is she?
At the youth club we used to go to.
Oh, what? Wait, is this the one? Is this the one that? Oh, this is kind of. I'm sure you dating someone underages. None
of it is how. It's obviously a made-up story.
Oh, it's very specific. Other than all the details that were wrong. Okay, we'll move on from there.
Please do.
What year of uni were you in?
4th.
You're in your 4th year of uni. Okay. Leslie, that I was thinking the other day about how you I've been watching the X-Files, and I was thinking about mysteries and how good it would feel to solve a mystery.
Yeah. And
then I got to think about how you solved a murder when we've discussed it at length. Everyone knows it. It was the severed penis, which your grandma had severed using her sort of lower quad muscles, I guess. I don't know how the body works. Using her vagina. She
might even have tents inside it as well. She might have had razor blades kind of stuffed up there as well.
Right. Okay. You think they would have looked into that? The police, they looked into it. Yeah. So I was trying to think about if I'd ever solved any mysteries or whatever. And I actually thought about this. And I was like, I'll put together a little list. Unfortunately, I realized that every mystery I've ever solved has always been kind of sad. Because my list was
happy one.
Well, I remember there was a time where there was someone kicked the door. I must have been about 14. My sister about 12 or something like that. The door had been kicked and it had broken the door, and my mum thought it was me. And I remember being, no, it wasn't. I was indignant about it because I was being unjustly persecuted. And I remember there was like a shoe print on the door, and I matched it with my sister's. And the reason that's sad is because it wasn't
time.
Sorry,
which you had on as well.
No, unfortunately, my feet were too large, but the track perfectly matched hers, and it was on the right foot. So it was proper CSI. The other one I remember is my dad being a slut. But I don't want to go into that one. The one I was like, that was me putting all the evidence together. Was I was seeing a girl, and things have not been great. I actually met her through John Cordy. Actually, he was busking. He was busking, and I was just hanging out, offering cigarettes to ladies, and it worked. And so thinking, she was texting someone all the time called Ellie. Yeah. And I remember being like, oh, right, Ellie's a new friend, whatever. And you just go to the back of your mind. You're like, that's weird. I've never met this Ellie, but they're always talking. And I remember after we'd broken up a few months later, a month later, thinking about this Ellie. And I realised she's definitely someone called Elwood. And I put, I put two and two together.
The name, it's like a Hobbit name.
Well, yeah, it's obviously one of the Blues Brothers he was named after, I believe. I think that's true. His dad owns a mechanics out Sidmouth Way, and his son grows mushrooms and drugs in the back. No, he came to work for us for a day.
Oh.
Yeah, when we ramped. Anyway, the other time I sort of solved a similar one is I think I've told you before about how my first girlfriend broke up with me while we were away in Bristol.
Yeah,
and her friend, she was texting someone. I was very naive, James, to the point of looking back, just idiocy. She was like, "Oh, my friend's offered to come pick my friend Kate or whatever has offered to come pick me up." Well, that's all right. It's weird. And then a couple of weeks later, I bumped into Kate, or whatever she was called, and she was like, "I've just passed my driving test." I was like, "Oh, when did you do that?" She was like, "Last week." And I was like, "Hang on, she couldn't have been driving to pick her up." And I was like, "Oh, just one of those moments." I was like, "Oh, this is really good." And then I realized I was really sad because I'd been cuckolded, basically.
I remember working out that I wasn't loved and I've been lied to. When I had a girlfriend, I'm down here.
When she learned to speak?
No, but she went on holiday with her best friend to Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
And I remember there were two things which I think caused a split. One of them was me. I just got a new book, and it was basically like people who sent prank like emails to companies. And I was, I was stoned, and I was meeting her, and I was at a friend's house. So I just sent her a message, quite saying, "I don't miss you. Don't hurry back," thinking it's the funniest thing I've ever written. I then got a message the next day, hours after she came in the country, saying she wants to split up because she's now got she's been travelling and she's got a taste for it.
I bet she has.
But at first I thought that was weird. But maybe it was.
Was it weird? Was it weird considering you had just messaged her saying, "I want to break up with you"?
Well, it still was, because I didn't say I want to break up with you, but I might as well have done. But in my head, I hadn't written that. I'd written something really funny, which she would just kind of like, "Oh, James," and I'd get like an email back, and I'd message back, and I'd message it back, and it would be like funny banter.
It's really just sort of gaslighting, though, isn't it?
But it then turns out that she had sex with a man on holiday, and that is why she split with me. Anyway, yeah, her best friend died a few months later, so
Sorry, what? Her boyfriend died.
Best friend.
Oh, so jokes on her.
Yeah.
If she hadn't.
If she was still with me, then she wouldn't have gone to that party, met that bloke, and ploughed into a truck.
Anyway,
Sorry,
here's Wonderwall. No, that was good. That was good. I mean, I sort of really understand the sending her an email saying that you wanted to break up with her.
It was a MacGuffin. It was, you know, if I was Hitchcock, you know, that would be something else. Well,
that's not what a MacGuffin is, though, is it?
Having sex, it's like a distraction, isn't it?
No. It's the thing that drives the plot. A MacGuffin is a thing that drives the plot without being vital. Is not being the plot. So, for example, the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. The events happen around the briefcase. Most James Bond films have a MacGuffin, which is like a key that needs to be coded or something like that. You just sent her an email being like, "I don't love you anymore."
Yeah, but in my head, I hadn't written that.
But what had you written? What did you think you'd written in your head?
I think smart and witty.
Well, you think you pulled it out of the bag, that one. You think something smart and witty, and it resulted in her. I presume her reading the email and then looking at the waiter, going, "Yeah."
But no, I sent her a message which is on her way home. So she was coming from Disneyland Paris.
Right. So how long between you sending that email, and her replying to that email?
It was a text.
Okay, a text.
About a day.
And at no point were you concerned having sent. I always worry about texts when I send them.
I just assumed she'd just
got a taste for it.
But so with the whole trying to create a persona in your when you're messaging someone in the course of love.
Yeah.
I remember when I used to phone this girl up.
Yeah, just heavy breathing on the phone, was it?
No, but I would make sure before I phoned her, I was playing like some cool music. And I'd let it play for about 30 seconds. I don't want to think I just switched it on.
Hang on, so sorry. You would. I understand what you're doing. I want to say now. I understand what you're doing. It's the same way people had music on their MySpace page.
Yeah.
What you're telling me is that you would call up this girl's house on the landline, I assume, because this was
it was mobile phones then.
So when are we talking?
20? 1920. No, I was 20.
1920. Okay, so hang on. You had a mobile phone at this age, so that puts you at what, 20?
Yeah.
So okay, 2000. So the year 2000, you're calling up. You call up this girl's house. You're happy. You're excited because you like her, and 9/11 hasn't happened, so you don't live with that. You're just gonna. So it rings through, right? She picks up. What she hears is you press play on a tape recorder and just play the first 30 seconds of "Steal My Sunshine" by Len.
No, I would put it on first. I'd play something.
Okay,
first,
so you play Len. Right, so you're at home. Len starts playing "Steal My Sunshine." You take out your phone. It's a Nokia with the orange lights down the side.
It was a cow phone.
A cow phone.
I don't know what make it was, but it looked like a cow. It was like kind of rounded. It was bought from the Virgin Megastore in Plymouth.
I'm sure it was.
It even had a built-in radio.
Wow. Okay, so you had a mobile phone with a radio.
Yeah.
You hit play on the phone. She then picks. You hit play on the CD player. She picks up. She hears, Len, "Steal My Sunshine" playing in the background. "Brimful of Asher."
Yeah. When I'm like, "Hi there, how are you?" All casual.
Yeah. She's like, "Can you turn the music down?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah, of course."
No, that's fine. But she wanted her to know that I was cool.
Because I've just gone, "Hey, how you doing?" "Yeah, I'm not bad, thanks. Just listening to Brimful of Asher" or Craig David or something.
We had a couple of strange dates. One of them, we went to watch Travis, and to I was like 20 odd. 2021 at the time.
20 what?
So I watched Travis. But 2021, something like that.
2021. All right, so this is 2001.
Yeah. So this one to watch Travis. Went back to Wickford Station. Couldn't get another train home, so I phoned my mum, and my mum kind of picked us up.
Right.
Drove us home.
How far away were you from home?
About 30, 40 miles.
Okay, that's okay. I think that's probably about fair, isn't it, to have to call you mum?
And I also remember she sat on my back seat. I sat in the passenger seat because I was an idiot. And my mum said to me, "Put your hands up, what are you doing?"
Sorry, your mum picked you up, and you sat up front with your mum.
Yeah.
Right. And then any other dates?
You had a few more. There was one we watched. Forrest Gump. Well, it was more kind of house sitting for a friend of hers.
Yeah.
It was basically it was a thing disguised guys to try and have sex.
Yeah.
But yeah, we watched Forrest Gump as a preamble.
There's no sexier film than Forrest Gump, is there?
No, I mean, I made it sexy.
Did you role play?
No.
Don't know, she can give you AIDS or anything?
No.
Fair enough.
I did get my trawler out.
First film I watched or fingered a girl to was Hitman. So in the cinema.
That's awkward time. I've seen a cinema with another Kate, and we've been away in Liverpool for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And part of our routine would always go to the cinema, and she wouldn't wear any underwear.
Classy.
Yeah, no, it was good. She was classy. I say classy. She wasn't. She was Phil. No. So we went to Liverpool, went to watch the film. At the time, I was into Guy Martin. We liked his stuff, and there was a film, Isle of Man TT, like 3D.
I'm just sorry. I'm sure that you were into Guy. Just go. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, so we're watching this Isle of Man TT film. It's called Isle of Man TT, Closer to the Edge, and it's in 3D, and it's just following the motorcyclists doing what we do, like day-to-day stuff.
Right.
And
going shopping and that.
I was no, but on the island, like on race week. So we were. What was I?
Oh, you're just talking about watching race week.
She was to my left-hand side.
Yeah.
My feet wandering, and it cut to halfway through the film, and it was this bloke's race. And they had a camera on his helmet, and it basically showed his bike crash, and he died. And it pretty much showed me kind of in the film.
Yeah. And
that's how I knew I've got to stop fingering her. So I did. I felt guilty after because a couple of minutes of man dying. It's like, gosh, I'm doing this.
I just think the film has to have some sort of romantic element to it for it not to be weird in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, the Isle of Man, Audi TT, man losing his face to concrete. I mean, you say she's classy, but if that's what's getting her going, and also getting you going, like, shit, yeah, this is appropriate. I've started watching people die again. I found a subreddit called Dead or Vegetable, which there's not a lot of hope in that channel at all, to be honest with you. The comments underneath are people arguing about whether the person is now dead or a vegetable following the clip.
I've got a favourite Reddit, and it's Hold My Cosmo, and it's just women kind of just push yourself a little bit too far and generally injuring themselves. And it's not funny because it's women. But
okay. I opened up just by saying that I've watched people like crushed death by machinery. You're telling me your favorite subreddit is. Did you enjoy that women posting their L's online Twitter phase?
No, but it's more like it's like a woman on a boat dancing and falling off. It's a bit close to your head. It's like kind of like a Beadle sort of.
Right. So you're
it's like frames, but solely with women falling over.
So they're not in like serious pain.
No.
They just know their place now. Is that what you're saying? You're just sort of like,
no, it's just,
I want to have
fun.
a little bit of a shock. Right. I've just got Hold My Cosmo. The hot post at the moment is someone on a zip line.
Oh, that's
falling.
Harsh.
Yeah. It's not that far.
Yeah.
I think she's fine.
But when she rolls down the bushes.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Next one is a woman hurting themselves skating. Then there's someone crushing their head onto a table. Someone just fell like a 10 foot off a dance pole. I just think this is just women getting hurt. No, well done.
In my head, it was because it's like harmless fun. But then saying out loud.
Yeah, it's the fact that they're just.
Shouldn't we say that? It's highlighting women.
It is strange that because it's very similar to the Reddit no, which you can see something happening. There's also no, yes, which is where it's avoided at the very last second.
I'd rather watch a no, maybe. Because otherwise, everyone's going to be happy, everyone's going to be sad.
You want the element of danger in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was kind of what I was thinking earlier with Captain Tom. They want to build this statue. I would be all for it if he had been walking through a minefield. I think it's just that because of he didn't raise that money, people gave that money. And it wasn't because he was walking, it's because they felt bad. Yeah. So if he'd been walking through a minefield, I would have given money. But then I think also, if you walk 50 laps your garden and it's a minefield, you absolutely get a statue at the end of it.
It's also careless. You should really have it not be a minefield.
Well, I think the minefield adds an element of danger. It means he's not just walking.
What I mean, if you've got a house which has a minefield in the garden,
yeah,
then you've got to kind of really question: should you be living there? Should you be a homeowner? And all sorts of things, really.
I imagine if he didn't put the mines in himself, the reason he still lives there is he found out about the minefield shortly after moving in. You wouldn't necessarily make a run for it if it was all, especially if it wasn't signposted. I've just had come up on my screen. Face of Sea God appears in huge Devon wave.
I saw that, and it does look like Neptune.
Right. So.
Well, actually, I didn't click on it. I just saw the top half of the picture.
And it's not working there. But you're saying that. Oh, hang on. Let's have a look. Does it look like Neptune? Again, great radio. This, honestly. This is 2-0. That's not snow. Sea foam swamps Devon seafront. That looks nothing like. Sorry, it's just sums up our little town city. Devon lives. That's not snow. Sea foam swamps Devon seafront. Well, only one comment underneath it is from an Andrew McEwen, and he says, "I believe it's called spume," which is fantastic. Okay, so
but if you go,
I've seen the picture. I've seen the picture.
Yeah. If
anyone wants to know what it looks like. I assume everyone has seen The Mummy, the 1999 film.
Something like that, yeah. Might be 7.
In that film where the mummy, let's just go into, but his face appears in the sand wave, and then in the sequel, it does actually appear in a water wave. The Mummy. I said 99. Boom, James. So around that time, you were at university chatting to that girl who wasn't at university. No, it looks nothing like a god. Although, what does a god look like? It's not a woman, so I don't think it's fine. It's nothing. It's nothing great. Any other Devon live had times. Devoted Devon girlfriend refuses to give up hope on dying partner. Nope.
Really should.
Yeah, I mean, cut your losses, James. Come on, we're meant to be a nicer, kinder podcast. Tourism blow as 2021 English Riviera air show is cancelled. Susan Johnson says, "What a pain." You ever been to an air show, and why?
Yes, I have. I've been to several air shows. I've been to the Southend air show quite a lot of times. That was always good fun. It was one of the highlights of the air show calendar, I believe. I've also been to the one which Dawlish, to that sort of area, of an air show. And I remember staying on Red Rock, can of beer, watching two helicopters fly one above the other, blade to blade.
Wow.
That was.
You didn't. Did that trigger something inside you, seeing them blade to blade?
Chopper to chopper.
Yeah.
Just two huge choppers.
Spinning. Just sort of something twigged. I think I've been to an air show. I've certainly been to I've been to Fleet Air Arm Museum.
Well, one of my dates with Kate, we also went to the cinema to watch on MTV with, was to the Manchester War Museum. Photos of us looking.
Sorry, there are photos. Does that mean you took some? Like you and Kate were walking through the. Sorry, what was the museum again?
The Manchester. Is it Imperial?
Okay, so the Imperial War Museum. Yeah. And you were having such a great time on your date to the Imperial War Museum that you stopped someone else and take a photo.
There's photos of us posing against tanks and.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think that was why she cheated on me.
Why? Because you disagreed on the outcome of the war.
We just went to I didn't treat her. I didn't I once called her a Russian whore. I meant to call her a Russian doll. She wasn't even Russian.
I think this. I mean, I'm not a doctor.
No, I'm not a lawyer.
But there does seem to be some sort of you want to see women get hurt. You want them to suffer.
No, I really don't.
Why did you take her to the fucking Imperial War Museum? Because that wasn't her suggestion, was it?
Might have been. Probably wasn't. I can't see why it would be.
So just a quick one here. There's another headline that's come up on Devon Live, which is man 39 had stroke after falling ill with coronavirus. Now, I remember being a teenager and being off from school with the flu.
This morning.
Desperately sad news. Police find body in search for missing Devon man. That's good news.
This is some sort of closure.
Yeah. Man lived in a tent in Dad's garden after losing all to lockdown. Interesting. No, it's not. Have you seen them storms in and whatnot are named after people?
Yeah.
So they're sort of like Storm Helga, alphabetical. They decided that they want to start putting in sort of, this is genuinely true, more diverse names. Which
like Storm Frank Bruno, or
more like Mohammed, or other ethnic names such as Jamal or Chung. But I don't think it's going to go well, because if your storm is wrecked by a hurricane and you're a racist or a redneck, you're already pissed off, right? Because your house has been destroyed. But if it's also wrecked by, I don't know, like a Hurricane Mohammed, you're going to be so fucking angry.
Well, the
So
obvious way to get
angry.
around is to have like a storm grading system. So like
Right.
the major wind kind of tornadoes have kind of anglicized names, while
Right.
the lower ranked, basically like a one gust of wind could be a more foreign name. So that would please everyone.
Now, that's more foreign. Surely depends on where the storm is.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's, I mean, you don't name the storm. Like Britain wouldn't name storms from America, would they? It's that area would name the storms.
That's what I mean. So, what's a foreign name? It depends on where it is, isn't it? Because if it's
if it's going to be us who are going to be naming our storms with more
diversity,
more diverse names, then we'll be saying, we're naming storms in this country. So it wouldn't matter where. Let's just cut all of that.
No. Do you see there's a man changed his name to Celine Dion after having too much to drink? This was going around. But I mean, other than the obvious issues with this story, I'm just waiting for it to load up because it's recently you've been getting annoyed at people being happy and filming it. That's fair to say. So by that, James has been angrily, rightly or wrongly, tweeting people who have viral videos because it's a moment that they should just enjoy rather than do it for clout. That's fair. You've yelled at a lot of old people who are happy because they've got a pillow that smells like their their dead wife and stuff.
And they all yelled back at me, so
yeah, and they yelled back at you, and that's their prerogative. Now I want to run because I can't really. I do understand where you come from on some of them. I think for me, it's more the ones where they involve the homeless people. Whereas if it's for relatives, I guess I see that as probably fair game. However, this story, a 30-year-old. This is just. I think it's just a brazen attempt to go viral. Because a 30-year-old man decided to change his name to Celine Dion after having a few too many glasses of wine. Now we'll go through this step by step. Thomas Dodd, otherwise known as Celine, had the idea while watching one of the Canadian singer's concerts on YouTube over Christmas. He thought it would be a great idea to pay £89 to officially take her name, but completely forgot about it when the official deeds poll documents arrived on his doorstep on Wednesday. Once you receive your papers, you need to sign them before an independent witness and inform your relevant record holders that your name is considered changed. So he hasn't actually done it by that point.
Oh, so he has. But
right. So I mean, do email, tweeting if I'm wrong, but at that point, he hasn't done anything. He's applied for it, but it's not been signed off. So his name is still Thomas, not Celine.
So only I'm guessing so, but did he sign it?
Well, so this is the thing. Thomas has no plans to go back on his decision and hopes it might get him backstage at one of his idol's future gigs. All right, so I assume apart from them calling him Thomas now, they're now implying that he's done it. But also, if you're a celebrity and someone turns up and goes, "I've got the same name as you," I wouldn't be inviting them backstage. Unless,
it's the opposite gender as well. That's like that.
Well, what's gender, James? We're not going to get into this again. Gender is what gender is. All right.
Yeah.
We've agreed that is the line we stand. Gender is whatever it is to you. But he says, Thomas, a hospitality manager from Tamworth, I think we can also assume gay, explained how he came up with his idea after getting sozzled while watching Celine Dion perform a show in Las Vegas on YouTube. And the whole thing is frozen. Bear with. So I still think that so far, but with his anecdote, he has not officially sign any paper. The story is like he went and got drunk and changed his name. You know, those people that they always end up accidentally booking themselves to Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though, as you or I know, having worked in that industry, that is almost impossible to do. To be that drunk to the point where you cannot remember what you're doing, book tickets, and be allowed on a plane.
No, because there was one a few years back which we both dealt with, and he basically claimed he got drunk and ended up in France, and he basically bought tickets that night, and he hadn't. He booked it like weeks before.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, just got further updates on his story. He said, I was planning to go and see her in Vegas, but obviously couldn't due to COVID. So I've become a bit hooked with watching her concerts on YouTube, as it's the next best thing. I'm a bit obsessed with her and always have been. But I don't know why it crossed my mind to change my name to hers. I can't really remember the night and forgot about it all the next day. No, he didn't. And he knows why he's doing it. I remember watching the Celine Dion concert of her performing in Vegas, and that's about all I can remember. I wish I knew what happened, but it was a hazy night. I used to be a drinker, James, and I also used to do other things. And I have maybe one night in my memory that I cannot remember much about.
Yeah.
He had a little bit of Vimto. He came home from work on Wednesday. There was a big white envelope on the floor by the door, and it said, "Do not bend." Bit late for him. It looked quite important, and it was full of all of these certificates. As soon as I read it, I had to sit down in the kitchen. I was like, this can't be real, but it's as real as it gets. I just don't remember doing it. He hasn't done anything at this point. He hasn't done anything. It's like him going, I've applied for all these credit cards. He's just got a letter through the post about it. He says, I can't be this, like, it can't be real, but it's as real as it gets. It's the least real as it gets, because it hasn't happened. He says again, I'm a bit of a Celine Dion super fan, and obviously just thought this would be hilarious. My mum doesn't think so. She wasn't best pleased. I did tell her it could have been worse, and it could have been Boris Johnson. We're just lucky he doesn't have any live concerts on YouTube. Right. She finds it funny now, though, as does my sister, but she nearly choked on her sandwich when I told her. I like feeling like he just dropped it in, waiting for her to eat something. I'm also dreading telling work. How do I tell them they have to refer to me as Celine Dion now? No. Without wishing to be cruel, having looked at the photos of him and how he is and the life he has described, I imagine several people at work already call him Celine Dion. He is a lifelong fan, and I got to go see her a couple of years ago, but my dream is to go out and see her in Vegas. I'm hoping it comes with its perks, having changed my name. Maybe I can get backstage at a concert or some first-class flights. I'm more upset that I haven't inherited the voice or the bank account, but that's something I can work on. No, it's not. It's not at all, is it? You don't change your name, and this is journalism, though. Thomas, who is currently working on a COVID testing site, will furloughed. Fuck. Jokes he might end up being sectioned if he was able to get pulled over by the police. He added, I have a fear of being pulled over by the police. I'm sure he does. And them just asking, and just imagine them asking, can I take your name, please? And I'm going to have to say yes. It's Celine, surname Dion. But it gives people a laugh this year, and so I don't care. I think we could all do the laugh of the year we've just had. My work know by now that I'm bonkers, and they should be fine with it. It's not something I would ever dream I would have to explain to them. That is all done just so he can maybe get some free tickets to see Celine Dion.
So far, he's not done anything. He's started a process which isn't legally binding.
Yeah.
And if he does go to it, it's just utter madness. But he's all what ifs, and he's presenting him as actual fact.
Because they don't even call him Celine in the article. They keep saying it's. I mean, it's so obviously a cloy. I mean, one of the reasons I don't like Lad Baby or People or whatever. It's when it's just clearly so done for the attention of it. And just changing your name to Celine fucking Dion. The whole article doesn't even work anyway because he never actually does that. We should get callers in. On line 7, we have Bob. Man discovered his box has been filled with an interesting piece of meat.
His what, sorry?
A man discovers his box has been filled with an interesting piece of meat.
Right.
The caption, it looks like some fried chicken. Oh my God, man.
Sorry.
You know, that's funny. You're our resident chicken connoisseur.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what the story is. The URL is McDonald's chicken has an amusing shape. It either is going to look like Jesus or God. Right, so it just looks like a bit of penis.
Oh.
As in, it looks like a normal chicken dipper, but there's like a bit at the end that's indented and then goes back out. Many who see this picture of some fried chicken may declare, I'm loving it, or others are perhaps more inclined to suggest it's finger-licking good. Either way, the crispy shaft of meat has caused something of a stir in the Green household. Dad Rich, 47, wanted a fleshy lockdown treat, so went to his local McDonald's where he picked up the $5.89 chicken select meal at the drive-thru. It wasn't until he got home to nosh on his meat that he realised his box had been stuffed with an interesting shaped piece of chicken.
Are you reading from Devon Live or Sunday Sport?
That's from the Metro. In fact, Rich's friends were so aroused, doesn't even work. Does it? Doesn't even work. Right. He decided to take a picture to share with his friends. He then peeled back some of the crust to check what he was eating. Check what he was eating was bona fide. Satisfied by what he saw, he got his lips around it for a good old chomp and swallowed the whole load without choking on his chicken. Explaining about his discovery, Rich said, I was with my daughter and we fancied a McDonald's, so we went through the drive-thru. When we got home, I opened the box and I was confronted by what looked like Mr. McDonald. I didn't know what to say because it really does look like a particular something. I haven't seen Ronald in a while, so I hope he's doing okay. It still tasted all right. I did peel off the crumbs before I ate it, though, to make sure that it was actually chicken inside.
It's just bizarre.
That's nothing. And I know that makes me a hypocrite because I've just wasted people's time by telling them the story about a man who thought his chicken looked like a cock. But I don't know. I apologize. Boy almost died when he ate 54 magnets to see if he'd become magnetic. Mental.
I saw that story. Yeah.
Did you read it? Did he eat it all in one go?
No, I saw a photo of lots of magnets which I retrieved from his body.
Oh.
But
he's got a dumb name. All right, let's have a look. Boy almost died when he swallowed 54 magnets. Yeah, Riley spelt with an H. Riley Morrison, 12, swallowed 54 magnetic balls to see if he could. He swallowed one batch on January 1st and the second on January 4th. Who has that many magnets? I like the idea, like, his mum's just, I'm off to the shop, Riley, do you need anything? Yeah, can you get some more magnets? I've gone through the last batch. So they failed to pass through his system. Riley woke up his mum, Paige Ward, different surnames, at 2 a.m. and he told her that he had swallowed 2 by accident. An X-ray revealed there were many more than that, and fearing they could burn through his organs and kill him, he was rushed to surgery. Riley from Prestwich, Manchester, spent 10 days unable to move without vomiting up a green liquid caused by his bowel leaking and had to be fed through a tube. Paige said, Riley's massively into science. He loves experiments. He eventually admitted, I tried to stick magnets to me to see if this copper would stick to my belly whilst the magnets were in.
But we all know he first tried on his penis.
Oh, yeah. It's just so silly, but he's a child and that's what kids do. He also thought it would be fun seeing them come out of the other end.
That's part of the story we didn't need to have added on to it.
Yeah, it's embarrassing enough, isn't it? When he's older and someone Googles his name and it comes up and they'll be like, oh, I'm just glad my mum didn't say I was looking forward to watching metal balls be pooped out of my body.
Yeah.
Just draw the line. She does go on to say though that it was heartbreaking watching him go through all of that, just horrible. I think it's especially difficult because of COVID, because he couldn't have any visitors. It was horrible to be able to not see him sit up and was sick every time. I'd managed to hold it together, but it wasn't nice seeing him in so much pain.
I went to newspapers to tell them. Wow.
When they did say that a trauma nurse came in and told the mum that she deals with kids like Riley who eat magnets all the time. But surely, like, you run the risk of those magnets pushing further and further away from each other, just ripping you in half. Oh my God! Sorry, the story goes on. Another doctor said he'd seen a child who'd swallowed 2 and ended up with part of their bowel removed. So Riley was lucky with 54. Paige has now thrown all the magnetic toys out. I just think if that's pointless now, isn't it? Once you've been in hospital for 14 days.
Yeah, he's not going to do it again.
Yeah, if he does it again, let him die.
If anything, leave the magnetic chair, have him like some sort of trophy in the lounge.
Yeah. Surely, if it's a matter of him passing them, you just get him to sit on a magnet. Oh, no, that'd be horrible. Yeah. I mean, I was talking to someone at work about horror films and death scenes in. Have you seen the Final Destination films?
I've seen the first 1 or 2, yeah.
The worst scene in it for me is there's a guy who gets his ass stuck in the filter pump in a pool, and he's on the bottom of the pool. And it sucks his insides out through his ass.
Oh, no.
Do you think that would feel nice for a second?
And my feet are so muddy. No, but it reminds me of a scene from The American In-Betweeners where one of the boys is at his paddling pool. Well, no, all the boys are.
Yeah.
And he starts pleasuring himself on like an extractor thing on the pool, and he gets his penis trapped in it.
You've watched The American In-Betweeners?
Yeah.
Why?
You can't get it now. I thought something which might be funny. It wasn't.
No.
But did get better.
Sorry.
Like when it's a bit like The Office. When it was being the British Office, or British Office, it was rubbish.
Yeah.
But when it finally did its own thing, it got really good. But then it was.
I told you, a girl I was seeing asked me the other day, which of the offices I preferred.
Yeah.
And I was trying to explain that I liked the American. She doesn't listen to this now, so it's fine. The British Office for the way it's written and the sort of the awkwardness, and the American Office for just how slapstick comedy it is. To be honest with you, like it's far more broad.
Yeah.
But I was just I struggled to try to explain that to someone who there was a joke she was told, which was, why does Dr. Pepper come in a bottle? Because he's a man. And I had to explain that joke because she didn't understand the two meanings of Dr. Pepper, being that it is a person and a brand. And then I explained to her that and then told her the joke. And she was like, yeah, but I know that it's those two things. And I was like, that's where you should be working from in the first place. It's a sort of multiple level audience with someone like that, where you just trying to simplify down. And I ended up just going like, I like the words in the other, I like the words in the British one and the acting or the comedy in the other one. And she was like, yeah, I bet you're wondering why I've messaged you. And I was like, is it because you've watched The Office? She was like, yeah, but I bet you don't know why. And I was like, yeah. Well, I'm Jim. I work in an office. So I assumed. She was like, yep. Awesome. Just seeing there's an update.
So from that, years and years of The Office, and like Pam and Jim have become the ultimate couple.
It's overtaken Ross and Rachel.
It took me about 5 years to realise that was my parents' names, or is my parents' names.
Awesome. Are you with a child?
No. I was
So
just walking in the park, and there's a couple of people.
all right, we'll just give you an update before we wrap this up if your feet are wet. The guy who commissioned a bust of Sir Captain Tom Moore is campaigning to have a statue made for the 4th plinth in Trafalgar.
Mm.
So let's just...
Have you seen the take on that by Richard Littlejohn?
No.
His take was it'll be pulled down by supporters of BLM.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, Richard Littlejohn is a cunt.
He is, and he's reporting as if it's actually happened. And it's just an idea he's had it in his head.
Oh, yeah, he's angry at the thing that he is put in there. I have no time for the man. I think he's a racist. I think he's terrible for the country. And I don't think he should get a statue. And Richard Littlejohn as well. No, I will say this. The only thing that annoyed me about Captain Tom dying was that I had a joke about death circling his bed for the 99th time. But him dying kind of... I told that joke to John, and he was like, you can't do that. Just let him die in peace. So I think this has been a happier episode. I don't think there's been any... I don't think there's been any sort of disability mocking or anything like that, which is positive, because we know we're in a Biden presidency now. We've all got to, I mean, it's good for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got similar afflictions to him as well, though, haven't you?
I know you were going to say.
Both like little girls.
Yeah. I knew you were going to say that.
No, you got. He famously has a stutter.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. So, are you proud of him?
I am.
Is it? Do you think this is like when for black people?
Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's your Obama.
He really is.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, probably a good time to wrap up then. If your feet are sodden.
Mud.
Are you sort of going back to your roots, getting that connection to the earth type vibe again?
Yeah.
James used to be in a hippie cult.
Yeah.
For one of the...
We had to attack Fallon on account of 3.
Yeah. So I'm going to go off and enjoy a... Oh, I didn't introduce you on this one, did I?
No, you didn't.
That's a shame, because I had an intro somewhere. But no, let's not worry about that. If you want to, I don't know, really. It's all good, isn't it? It's all gravy.
It is all good, isn't it?
If you Google Richard Littlejohn, the second picture that comes up is Stephen Fry. You reckon that really... Oh, wait, is that Stephen Fry? Or is that Richard Littlejohn?
I reckon it was an article in the imagine the Daily Mail for outing or something.
Oh, right. So it's just some dumb fucking idea he had 10 years ago about taxing every tweet that's sent. Well, let's end on a positive note. There's one good thing that's happened recently, other than Captain Tom dying. I've got nothing. So really just stay safe, I guess.
Yeah, stay safe.
Thank you for listening, everyone.
Thank you.
It's been infrequent. We're trying to get better at that, I assume. And bid you all adieu. Bye.
Adieu.
That was Jim and James Chew the Cud. What a lot of your time we have wasted. A Kerson media production. Produced by Glenn Lopez. Music by Hilary Mice.
I quite enjoyed it.